السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن محمدًا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا، فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the evils within ourselves and the evil consequences of our actions. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace and blessings upon the last and final messenger, upon his companions, his family, his wives, and all those who follow his way until the end of time. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. We remind one another to be people of taqwa, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the muttaqeen. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen, amma ba'd. In the battle of Badr, this huge battle that was so important to the Prophet ﷺ, the Islamic movement, before the battle actually started, something extremely important happened, a moment that we can take lessons from today in our current circumstances. As was traditional in that time, before or when two armies meet, before the battle actually occurs, you have the generals of each army come and meet and discuss. The leader of Quraysh and the polytheistic camp was Abu Jahl. And so Abu Jahl goes forward between the two armies. Behind him are the polytheists of Quraysh. And in front of him is the Prophet ﷺ and his followers. And Abu Jahl, in front of everybody, raises his hands and makes a dua. He invokes Allah and says, Allahumma aqta'una lirrahim wa atana bima la yu'raf fa'ahinhu al-ghadat. He stands and he says, Oh Allah. He invokes Allah. And he says, the people who have destroyed the family, who have caused families to divide, and has come to our land with a religion that is not known, destroy them today. You see, Abu Jahl and the polytheists of Mecca, they had a campaign, a propaganda campaign to destroy and smear the image of the Prophet and the Muslims. And they would say, look at how when one of you accepts Islam, they become enemies to their parents. It divides the family. You are destroying families. They accused the Prophet ﷺ. And they said, we are the Arabs, descendants of Ibrahim ﷺ, and the religion we practice is that of Ibrahim ﷺ. And you're coming with something we don't know. You are changing the way of Ibrahim ﷺ. That was their propaganda machine. But we know what the result of the battle was. Allah answered that dua. And in Surah Al-Anfal, the 8th chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds to this and says, إِن تَسْتَفْتِحُوا فَقَدْ جَاءَكُمُ الْفَتْحِ. For the one who invoked Allah, the answer has come. Abu Jahl and 70 of the leaders of Quraysh were killed that day. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, no, you are the ones who destroyed the family. You are the ones who created division. You are the ones who changed the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because the Prophet came and preached what? Be good to your parents. The Prophet ﷺ came and taught what? In joining ties and maintaining ties with family, didn't he? And the Prophet ﷺ in many verses in the Quran is said, وَاتَّبِعْ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا. Follow the religion of Ibrahim. The Prophet was the one who was calling people to the religion of Ibrahim. He was restoring the religion of Ibrahim, but the way of Quraysh and polytheism was the religion that was introduced, that adulterated the way of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Abu Jahl thought that he is the one on the right side when he was wrong. Today there is a lobby backed with billions of dollars from who knows who that is leading a propaganda campaign to paint and smear anybody who disagrees with the LGBT ideology as bigots, as people who are intolerant, as people who are making children feel unsafe, as people who, if you attack them, you are waging war against them. Imagine this. Wallahi, I saw this on CNN. Just Google this. Google this, the war on pride. And see the articles that come up, the war on pride, the war on pride, the war on pride. Now, I don't deny that there are people out there who identify this way, who have been harmed, who have been unjustly attacked, who have been unreasonably targeted. I don't deny that that exists. But we can say the same about the black community, can't we? Do you ever see the war on blacks in these news outlets? You can say that about Muslims. Have you ever seen the war on Muslims? And there's a war on terror. We know what that really was. Even the Jewish community is frequently attacked. Do you see the war on Jews? You see anti-Semitism. You see Islamophobia, right? We see these things, but where's this war stuff coming from? We are being attacked and painted as though we are the criminals, as though we are the aggressors. But let's look at the reality. Just like Abu Jahl was accusing the Prophet of things that he was guilty of, we, whether that's us as Muslims or Christians or Jews or anybody who believes in the traditional family unit, we are being accused of these accusations. But let's look at the reality here. Who is the one going around saying, if you don't accept us, you are evil people? If you don't accept us, then you are oppressors. Who's the one accusing who, really? We as Muslims, we believe we have the truth. We believe the Quran is the word of Allah. And we believe Muhammad, Rasulullah, alayhi salatu wassalam. But we are taught in the Quran, La ikraha fid deen. We don't have the right to shove what we believe down other people's throats. Do we? We don't. Yet they're coming and saying, you have to accept this. And if you don't accept it, then you are a bigot. Who's accusing who? We are the ones being accused. We are the ones being attacked, not the opposite. They say you're making our children feel unsafe. And they forget about all the other children who feel uncomfortable seeing the pride flag waving everywhere. What about those children? Don't they feel uncomfortable? And who's making them uncomfortable? It's the LGBT lobby, isn't it? And you can just look at who's intolerant of who. Who's the one accusing who? So they are coming with this propaganda machine, the LGBT lobby. Highlight this, underline it, the lobby. They are coming with this propaganda machine. And I have a message to the LGBT community. Take it from the Muslim community who for 15, 20 years, our community, our religion was used as a pawn in a vicious political game that was used to enter Iraq and enter Afghanistan and led to the deaths of millions of people under the guise of we are battling terror. It's a vicious game. And there are people who are getting hurt and killed as a result of that political game. And now our country wants to go to Uganda and apply sanctions on them because the president of Uganda said what? We don't believe in this stuff, and it's banned in our country. What is really going on? Just like the World Cup, what was all that about? Really, what was all that about? Do Muslims come to other countries and start waving their symbols and start mocking and ridiculing and agitating other people because they don't accept our religion? What is this all about? It is a game, and it is a propaganda machine. So take it from a community who are victims of that for nearly 2 decades. Don't fall into the same thing. You are being used, and you are being used as a pawn, and you will be the victims. So be careful, and oh Muslims, this is serious stuff. This is the plot of Iblis. He wants to destroy you. He's not private about this. He publicly stated it in front of Allah. And Allah documents it. He wants to, وَلَا يُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. He is going to plot and plan and introduce ideologies that's going to cause humanity to change their natural self the way Allah created them. And you see this manifesting itself in the LGBT lobby. And so as a community, we as Muslims will not be silent over this. We will not accept this paradigm. We will not accept the bullying. We believe in the constitutional rights of all people. And this isn't a call to any sort of violence. But let it be known, that lobby aggressed against us, against anybody who believes in the traditional family. We are being aggressed against. And this rise of families and parents from all across America is a response to the aggression. And it's not a bigoted targeting of a community for unreasonable reasons. So be aware of that, and we have a role to play. But our role as an imam of the masjid, I'm going to limit that role, at least here, to us as Muslims and what we need to do. I'm sure as parents, you are extremely worried over the well-being of your children. And those who are in professional fields or corporate America or the public sector, it is very difficult to navigate this new terrain because literally your job is on the line if you don't endorse everything that's being said. And the youth are extremely confused because of this propaganda. So what can we start to do to protect ourselves? And we're responsible. We are responsible. We have the institutions, we have the resources, we have the knowledge, we have the leaders to protect ourselves. And if we don't take advantage of that, then who's to blame? And we start, dear brothers and sisters, by looking to Lut alayhi salam as our role model. Not to Taylor Swift, not to Lil Nas, not to these artists, who are spewing the most debauched, the most immoral things. These aren't our role models. Lut alayhi salam is our role model. And when you come to the masjid, Lut alayhi salam is the one who's going to become our role model, not these other foolish artists. To remember Lut alayhi salam, he had it way worse than us. He was one man in a sea of aggressive people. And it got so bad with Lut alayhi salam that literally he almost broke. A prophet. And he said, لو أن لي بكم قوة أو آوي إلى ركن شديد. If only I had the power to deal with you. If only I had a tribe or a community I can get help from. And the Prophet ﷺ responds and says, يرحم الله لوطا كان له ركن شديد. May Allah have mercy on Lut alayhi salam. He did have a strength. He did have something to go back to. He had Allah. He had Allah, the protector. He had, and we have Allah, the one who when Ibrahim alayhi salam was thrown into a fire, Allah said, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. The one who made the fire cool and peaceful for Ibrahim alayhi salam. We have Allah. And so the first step to protecting ourselves and our family and our youth from this aggressive lobby is to remember Allah is our protector and Allah is our resort. And if Allah helps us, then we're good. So go back to Allah. And part of that is dua. Part of it, not all of it, but part of it is dua. And the dua of Lut alayhi salam. Rabbi najjini wa ahli mimma ya'malun. Oh Allah, save me and my family from what they do. Allahumma ameen. And Allah right after says, فَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ أَجْمَعِينَ. We saved him and his entire family. إِلَّا عَجُوزًا فِي الْغَابِرِينَ. Except his wife. Why wasn't his wife saved? Because she embraced what they were doing. She endorsed what they were doing. She accepted what they are doing. And so a very gentle message to Muslims who are embracing this and think it's okay and all of it is fine. It's not okay. Allah said it's not okay, not me. I'm not spreading my morality. No imam is spreading his personal morality. We are doing our best to relay to you what Allah says. Allah is the one who has the authority to determine morality. And here's another beautiful dua. Allahumma inni atabarra'u min hawli wa quwwati wa alja ila hawlika wa quwwatik. Oh Allah, I am innocent from, I disconnect myself from my strength and my abilities. And I seek refuge in your strength and your abilities. So apply these from the life of Lut alayhi salam. Number 2, the importance of family and community. Look at how the LGBT lobby wants to introduce legislation that disconnects you parents from your children. Now, you parents, if you have a 12-year-old child, you cannot get their medical records without their permission. Think about that. They have the freedom to undergo surgery that will permanently affect them without your permission, without you ever knowing. What is that? What is that other than an attempt to disconnect you parents from your children? And you know who wants to do that? Iblis. That's Iblis's goal. Because Iblis loves and he is happy when two people get divorced. He loves it. Now, it's not haram to get divorced. It is halal. But the idea is, Iblis knows if I can destroy the family unit, I've destroyed humanity. And so when you see this lobby pushing towards legislation and an ideology and a culture that destroys the family unit, they're going back to the plots and the plans of Iblis. So what do you need to do? You got to prioritize your family. And we here as a masjid are working towards providing you all with the resources to make sure your family is healthy by offering youth programs, by offering space where you can learn the Islamic paradigm, where you can learn how to protect your family, where you can come with your family and be in a safe and healthy environment. But so little people utilize this. Do you understand? Do you see what's going on, dear parents? There is a multi-billion-dollar push to literally destroy your family. to take your kids away from you. If that's not scary enough, I don't know what to say. You have a masjid, you have masajid all over the place to help you and support you and to protect our children. Of course, the protector is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And finally, within our families, we have to get away from this Western idea of man and woman are equal. They're not equal. In the eyes of Allah, spiritually, they're equal. But in terms of biology, in terms of physiology, in terms of psychology, they're not the same. And in the man's masculinity is his beauty. And in a woman's femininity is her beauty. And of course, we say this in terms of the Islamic definition of masculinity and femininity, not the Western definitions of these two terms. That is part of being beautiful, because that's how Allah created you. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. A man is not like a woman, and a woman's not like a man. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, of course, in front of Allah, there is no difference. Spiritually speaking, there is no difference. There's no advantage in front of Allah for a man over a woman or a woman over a man, but they're not the same. And we need to really reinforce this value, this idea, this paradigm in the minds of our children. They're not the same. Right? And so be careful of this and understand that we affirm the gender differences, that they are real and they are God-given and they are a blessing. And we also need to teach our children that the human body isn't just this piece of meat that doesn't mean anything. I can go ahead and expose it, show it to everybody, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Our body is a blessing from Allah, and it is a responsibility on our shoulders. And our body is a language. It sends messages. Just like our clothing is a language, it sends messages. It is inappropriate to expose the human body, except in very limited circumstances and conditions. And we need to remind ourselves that we have a duty and a responsibility to lower our gaze when others are exposing their bodies. This is how we begin to protect ourselves and our families and our communities from this lobby that is a very dangerous lobby. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Dear brothers and sisters, we will continue to hold our values. And our role model is Lut alayhi salam, who told his people, Inni li'amalikum min al-qalin. We do not accept these behaviors. You have the right under this constitution to live your lifestyle. And we as Muslims don't have the right to enforce or to shove our values down anybody else's throats. But we ask you to reciprocate that. And even though the culture might accept this as normal and as okay, we don't accept it as normal and as okay. وَلَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. You have your ways, we have our ways. If you are neutral towards us, we will be neutral towards you. That's all we ask. But if that community wants to aggress our rights, our values, to try to change our ways, we will respond with the legal venues that are allowed to us in this country. And so stay on the straight path. Do not waver. These are all trends. And I remind the parents, if you don't protect your children, then Iblis is waiting in every single corner of the world today. This isn't just an American problem, nor is it just a Western problem. This is becoming a global problem, and it's Iblis's plan. If you don't protect your children, and if you say, I don't know how, I don't know what to say, learn. We're here for you. We're offering these programs. We're offering these talks. We're more than happy. There's an entire community full of resources, full of knowledge. Well, what's going to happen when we put our hands together and let's say, let's do what pleases Allah. Let's do what will protect our children. Do you not think we're going to be successful? Well, of course we're going to be successful. So parents, take this very seriously. And a message to the youth, don't fall into this propaganda trap. Remember, and maybe you were really young when all of this was going on, you were once a target for a vicious political propaganda machine, that being a Muslim means you are an evil, corrupted person, that the Quran preaches hate and violence. Do you not remember this? Do you think those who fuel that propaganda machine won't fuel another one? Well, they will. They are. Don't fall for the trap. Be kind to those who are kind, even if they identify as LGBT. But those who want to change your ways, they are your enemies. They're not your friends. They want to destroy you. They're not trying to help you. And finally, a message to those struggling with same-sex attraction. Inshallah, I have my next khutbah later this month will be about this. There are many Muslims who have a sincere struggle with same-sex attraction. And my message to them, just because you are struggling with that, does not mean you are a bad Muslim. It does not mean Allah hates you. It does not mean you are disqualified from being a Muslim, nor does it mean you cannot contribute to Islam and Muslims in very helpful ways. This is your test. And I say to all the Muslim community, if you know somebody struggling with this, do not assist the shaitan against them by judging them and calling them names. That is their test. And we will support our brothers and sisters struggling with this. We will stand next to them. We will stand side by side with them. And we will appreciate their sincere struggle to try and do what is pleasing to Allah. And I say, you all, those people are warriors. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the one who struggles for his cause. And he is with the one who struggles and is patient on his behalf. Allahumma aghfir lil muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minin wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka sami'un qareeb mujibu da'wati ya rabbil alameen. We have several announcements. Please make dua for Abdul Rasul Kabir, who died in a motorcycle accident a few days ago at the age of 28. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower him with mercy. Ameen ya rabbil alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give patience to his family. Please make dua for Sister Dilshad Farooqi, who passed away in India, the mother of brother Bakhtiyar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on her. Ameen ya rabbil alameen. Please make dua for brother Abdul Mateen, who had a heart attack. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him full shifa. Join us next Friday for an evening with the Prophet ﷺ with a guest speaker, Dr. Mi'raj Muhyiddin, who's the author of Revelation, an in-depth look into the life of the Prophet ﷺ. Refreshments and sweets will be served, so please do join us again next Friday between Maghrib and Isha. Our summer at OCIF program has launched. OCIF has planned something for everybody. Check out our programs, events, and activities during the summer. You see a flyer up here, right under the mimbar. Do take a picture of it, put it on your refrigerator so that you always know what's going on in the masjid. You can sponsor any of these programs. For more information, please visit the reception desk. OCIF is partnering up with Half Deen and bringing a Muslim singles event here to OC on Saturday, June 24th. Registration is required. Our Friday night programs, Salam Corner, our junior high program, and our children's program for ages 4 to 10 are all tonight between 7:30 and 9:30. Also, our Eid al-Adha festivals on Saturday, July 8th from 1 to 5 p.m. Welcome as-salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
La ilaha illallah, stawu, istaqimu. Make sure your lines are straight, shoulder to shoulder. Fill in any gaps. Remember, perfecting our lines is part of perfecting salah. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حميده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حميده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.